taking 3.
Going for the St. Louis now.
Oh, no.
Son of a bitch.
You get your 2?
Yeah.
That's fine. Try somewhere. Alright, Rezo is in charge.
Caboose is going to see why I was asking about CV pilots.
Well, all DDs, all cruisers and battleships. Nice.
Yeah, the 3, okay, so on this map, the 3 northernmost DDs, I can't see who people are yet, but whoever the 3 northernmost DDs are should head into B. The southernmost destroyer should grab C, and then after grabbing C, cut up into B as well.
Alright, that'd be me. I'll go for C.
The aircraft carrier should make a beeline for India 5, that little island down there, and hide there. You don't want to stay where you are because they tend to grab A and then come around.
Copy.
And then the battleships will just steam up into B and shoot at things.
Around Gulf 5 and 6 area, and into B if necessary.
Battle starts.
Alright, so let's do it.
Let's have fun.
Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Thotgor here, of course. And if you haven't guessed already, we are taking another look at team battles. Now, I wanted to play that beginning portion there just so that you can all hear what it should sound like when you are planning your advance in team battles, right? Wait until the map loads up, you have your specific battle caller, that person makes the plans, gives you the plans, and you follow the plans, right? It only makes sense. So we put that in there just to make sure, at least, you know, if you watch the video, you are going to hear what it should sound like when you are planning out the battle before you go into it, right? So based on where I spawned, right, in the destroyer, my job is to go to B. The furthest south destroyer, as you heard, was the one that was going to C. In behind us at B, we're going to have some battleship support once they arrive. We were running 4 destroyers, 2 battleships, and 1 cruiser all night. The NGA Warhawks is what team this is. Another one of the teams I play on, obviously. Anyway, so that's what we run, the mix, and it is amazing. It really, really works out well. I had a whole lot of concerns going into this, a whole lot of concerns, because, you know, I would favor taking a Cleveland. Obviously, I'm much better, you know, I play much better in cruisers, and I just assumed that this was going to be bust, right, for myself, and that I'd probably have to make an argument to play a cruiser in hopes that the other team members would support it. There was no need at all. I think this was actually our first game. If you notice the score there at the beginning, the team ranking was right at 4,000. So this was our first game, right? So this is the first time out in the Farragut, basically for me in a long time, because I don't play this ship at all. Not a fan of it in random battles, but in this team battle mix, it is golden. I don't know, it's just amazing. I love it. So you can see the destroyers immediately, right? We did our job, came in here to B, and we capped it, right? And you can see as well that once we got into B, we're sticking around over here, right? We're not going to push any further, because you got to remember the detection range on a Farragut, you know, it's pretty high. It's not nothing like a Japanese destroyer. That being said, again, I don't really feel that the Japanese destroyers are really well suited for this type of gameplay. Much better in random battles. There's just a whole lot more distance to work with, right? So here we are. You can see the Southern Destroyer is capping C as planned, and our battleships are moving up towards us. Now the plan here as well, that is, you know, once the battleships start coming into range, and the enemy starts engaging them, what we are going to do is we're going to pop our smoke, the destroyers, and we're going to alternate the smoke popping so that our battleships will be smoked up and in cover if they need it. If they don't need it, then not such a big deal. But if you notice on the enemy team, there are a lot of cruisers, right? So the cruisers are definitely going to try and burn down our battleships. That's obvious what they're going to try and do. So it's important for us to stick around the battleships, still engage targets here and there, right, as we can, but be ready to go back to the battleships and pop smoke when they call for it. Now I can see this Cleveland, right? I'm getting a little close to the Cleveland. Cleveland's trying to push through. He doesn't see me because of the rock here, and he's in my torpedo range now, so I'm thinking, well, I don't know what this guy's thinking, but okay, alright. Now he fully sees me, right? So he knows that I at least launched the second spread there. He didn't see me while I was launching the first spread, but he knows those torpedoes are coming at him, and no evasive action whatsoever does that Cleveland take. You can see the first destroyer has already popped smoke for the battleships, because this Cleveland pushing forward, frankly, is a pretty big threat. You notice like one of our battleships is almost at half health, right? So the torpedoes land on the Cleveland there. I managed to take him out with 5 torpedo hits, so that is not too shabby at all. And like I say, I have no idea, no idea what was going through that captain's mind. But anyway, lucky for me, right? So 1 Cleveland down, not too shabby at all, and especially on this map straight. Now, we played straight a whole bunch when we were playing this on Saturday night, just a whole bunch, and we have the strategy for this map down pat. It's always the same thing that we do, regardless of where we spawn. But anyway, the whole idea now is to just hold the points. We have both points. The enemies can't do anything. They have to push to get in here, and we're just sort of sitting back at the edge of B, letting our battleships work them over, and then the destroyers are taking out any enemy ships that happen to get too close, who are on really low health. Like you saw, I killed that, it was either a Nuremberg or a Königsberg, and you know, that's sort of the role of the destroyers right now. Cap the points, protect the battleships, and you know, ambush people when you can. In fact, you can even see that one of our destroyers is pushing up behind the enemies, right? Starting to flank them, so that is also an excellent move. Really good to see there. Well, not surprising, right? It's our team, the NGA, so it's going to be pretty good. And even our aircraft carrier, Hell Siege, now he doesn't have a whole lot to do in this game because there is no enemy aircraft carrier, but he is doing an excellent job of keeping the enemies lit up, right, as he can, because keep in mind, he has to go against cruisers in his fighter planes and dive bombers, so they are going to shoot down a number of his planes, but he's doing it in such a manner that sometimes their AA isn't actually able to hit them, but he's able to keep them lit up for us, especially for the battleships. Now I'm running over here to give smoke. I really needed to give smoke here to, who is this? I think this is Warhawk, yes. He was calling for smoke, so I boost over here and pop my smoke immediately, right? Whole idea is to envelop the battleship in smoke, so put a smoke screen there, lay it in the front of him, cut over and circle in back around him like I'm doing now, and lay more smoke, so he's just driving into the smoke as he's coming to a halt. You can see that one of our destroyers just got killed. It was by a cruiser over there, but the cruiser is on really low health. I believe it was Orvis, and Orvis got, I think, some torpedo hits into him before he died, so that is fantastic. Now this New Mexico is getting awfully close, so I'm going to launch all of my torpedoes off at him, circle away, try to limit the damage I take here, right? That was a bit of damage, and come back into my smoke. Let my battleships now do the work, and especially that my torpedoes are in the water. Hopefully this guy, I'm going to get a few hits on him, right? Maybe not take him out or kill him, but at very least get a few hits on him. Now we do notice the cruiser over there that did kill Orvis, but that cruiser is heading back to the north, so not a really big threat right now, so there's no need for me to go and hunt that guy down. It's not required. Get one torpedo hit on the New Mexico. Keep in mind, right, American torpedoes at tier 6, they do not do a whole lot of damage. Not a whole lot of damage at all, but still one more torpedo hit. Hopefully cause maybe a little bit of flooding or whatever, but you can see that this enemy New Mexico is going down. There he goes, he's gone. Fantastic. I believe it was Rezio who got the kill on that, so excellent job there. So just taking a look around, seeing what else we have. There's only 3 enemy ships remaining. We know where they all are thanks to the fine spotting there by Hell Siege and the aircraft carrier. So it's not really that big of a deal, right? At this point in time, we can kind of hunt them down. I'm really interested in killing off this cruiser that we can see coming around the rock, because he's on the lowest amount of health, right? So if I can just get a few quick shots into him, maybe set him on fire or something like that, hopefully do a bit of damage. You can see that the 2 enemy ships in the background, who just sort of held out at A the entire time, they didn't do a whole lot, but I mean they are still on full health, so there's that. I mean, it's going to make it a little more challenging for us to kill them. So there we go. We can see the enemy cruiser pop out from around the cover, so just sort of sizing up now whether or not I want to engage. I'm not really on full health, right? So need to keep that in mind. But you can see here as well in this battle how well the strategy works. I think we talked about it before when we were playing on the wargaming team. on this map, on straight, it's just so critical. You need to cap the 2 points first. If you're in a team, on your team, and your team is on this map and they're saying, okay, we're going to go A and then we're going to go B, you guys have already lost. You need to go B first and send one ship, hopefully a destroyer that's, it's going to, and destroyers, use your boost right at the beginning, but hopefully it's a destroyer that's going to go into A, cap that while the bulk of your forces are taking B. B is the critical point on this map. If you come into it thinking that we're going to do A and then B, or C then B, you've lost. You've already lost, because you need those few seconds to get your ships into position to be able to counter the enemies, right? Like these guys, sure, they put up a decent fight. They managed to take one of us out, but it just wasn't. They just never really pushed down into B a whole lot. And by the time that maybe they realize that they should have, there's not enough of them to be able to actually do that, right? They only have one destroyer, they have the they have one battleship, they have the Murmansk, and you can see the shots from behind me raining in from my battleships, my other friendly destroyers. And it doesn't even matter that I'm spotted now, because the enemies have so much more to deal with than trying to kill me. And it doesn't matter anyway, right? Battle is basically over. Like I said, I'm pretty sure this was the first battle we played, and it was a victory. I think we played 12 battles and we lost 1, so that's not too bad at all. The one battle we lost was just total fail, but anyway, battle results are here. You can see I didn't do too bad, right? My first battle in the Farragut, I was top of the team overall. Again, so surprised that I was able to actually consistently perform in the Farragut. I didn't expect to at all. But anyway, I mean, damage done was alright. Walk away with credits and experience, which is always something that you want, right? And in fact, at the end of our session for these team battles, I actually unlocked my Mahan, so I have the Mahan now. But what I did, because I'm going to be still using the Farragut here for team battles, rather than purchase the Mahan and sell the Farragut, what I did was I sold my Ognavoy and I got the Kiev, because I also had enough experience for the Kiev. So I've got one of those Kievs now. It's interesting, but anyway, next battle. So you can see, same map, right? Like I said, we got straight a whole bunch while we were playing, and I had no problems with it. We were winning every time, and this is a pretty good map for team battles anyway, as they are now. So you can see, based on where I spawned, and if you recall at the beginning of the video, the strategy that was laid out, same strategy. Based on where I spawned, immediately to B. And I just mentioned it, excuse me, in the destroyer, and I'm popping my boost right away, right? We're off to B. There's one destroyer who's going to go to C. Everyone else is going into B. Obvious exception there is the aircraft carrier, who's going to hover behind B. And just sort of play it by ear, right? The aircraft carrier's whole goal is to remain unseen, but still be close enough to us that he's still able to actually do something. And in this battle as well, there is actually another enemy aircraft carrier to oppose. So Hellsiege is going to have a bit more to do here, and kudos to Hellsiege, because he played carrier all night for us, and it was fantastic. I mean, we didn't. That's the biggest problem, trying to get tier 6 aircraft carriers. People who actually want to play the aircraft carrier all night long in the team battle, right? To find people for your Farraguts, Clevelands, New Mexico's, Fuzos, not a problem. But aircraft carriers always are. Anyway, moving into B. So immediately we're going to get into B. We're going to start capping B. You can see that these enemies are a little more on the ball here, right? They've got aircraft out front. They're trying to get into B, but you can see Hellsiege is all over them with his fighters, keeping them out of B, or at least slowing them down, making them reconsider, and preventing them from spotting us, right? So I'm going to move right in here, right next to Orvis. We're going to slow it down, and we're going to pop smoke. I think Orvis is the one who's popping smoke first. Not 100% sure, but we're just going to sit here while we cap. There's no need, to go any further. Just let Hellsiege do the work on those airplanes there, and then once they're gone, maybe line up for an ambush. You never know. So there we go. We've capped the point. We are spotted by aircraft, but you can see again Hellsiege is all over these guys, just shooting them down, which isn't too shabby at all. It's pretty great. I mean, if one of those destroyers were to get a lucky shot or a lucky torpedo hit on one of our destroyers, is either going to kill the destroyer or severely damage that destroyer. to the point where, you know, the wind blows and the destroyer is going to blow up. Anyway, you can see I'm moving forward from, you know, the beginning or the southern point tip of B there, but moving forward using the landmass as cover, and I'm trying to set up an ambush, right? Just moving in to see if anyone is going to push through that little channel, because it does look like there is a ship that is attempting to, right? We can see him there lining up on him, but no, that ship apparently grounded himself or stopped, so it's not looking good, and I need to circle back. And it was important that I circle back, you know, to the south rather than to the north, because if you circle back to the north, obviously you're going to close the distance on the enemy ships, and then they might spot you. And I'm going to come out from behind cover if I would have done that. So circle back from the south and line up again on these people, just again to see if anyone's going to attempt it, because this is the perfect ambush position for an American, well, really for any destroyer. If you know, an enemy ship attempts to push through the little channel there between the massive landmass and the smaller island, it's an excellent opportunity to just, you know, get some torpedoes off. But no enemy ships decide to do it, so I'm going to pop some smoke. We're just going to reverse and move forward a little inside the smoke and do some invisible firing here off of the enemy battleship in the distance. Really surprised to see a tier 5 battleship in one of these team battles here, but I suppose there are a few players who aren't at the tier 6 level. I never thought it possible, but anyway, yeah, you can see at this point in time, Razio is coming in, and I really didn't want to run into him. But he was saying, what was he saying? That I was reversing into my smoke, yeah. And I knew I was, and I was trying to get out of there so that I wouldn't ram him, but yeah, it didn't work out. Oh well. Razio pops his smoke and comes to a stop and starts slowing reverse right, basically doing the same thing that I was doing, just invisifiring. So that's fantastic. Torpedoes, you can see that they came in. Enemies get some lucky shots into me. I think they were aiming at Razio, and I just happened to be there, right, and took the shots. But whatever, it didn't kill me, so no big deal. Still have all 4 of my guns and torpedo tubes, so that's all that matters. And we're going to start working over this Cleveland here. We can see him. He's just sort of, you know, off in the distance. Our battleships are calling out the targets as well. And our target priority for the battleships has always been cruisers first. Then you're going to take out any sort of destroyers that are remaining. Hopefully our destroyers, you know, are going to take them out. Before we go on with that though, this is an excellent example right there. We can see of a Japanese destroyer and why why you probably don't want to use one, right? He just became spotted, and in that brief amount of time lost a whole bunch of health. It's all gone. Just tragic. He's going to pop up again and die. But anyway, going back to target priorities, yeah. Cruisers, destroyers, and then save the battleships and aircraft carriers for last. That is the priority for us to be, you know, shooting at targets and taking them out. Especially the battleships really need to take out cruisers first. You got to get rid of those cruisers. Once they're gone, the battleships usually by then are free to shoot at the other battleships, because your destroyers or your destroyer hunting force would have killed all the enemy destroyers if there were any. Another Cleveland in the distance, he's on really low health as well, so we're going to try and pick this guy off. You can see that the enemy aircraft are back there duking it out with our aircraft carrier, but again, Hellsiege is putting up a good fight back there, is taking a bit of damage, but still shooting down enemy planes, and now those enemy planes have to fly over our fleet, and you know, they don't have any ordnance to drop on us, so it's just a matter and hope that we can take some out while they're on their way back to the enemy aircraft carrier. We can see, I mean, we haven't lost any ships at all, which isn't surprising. I mean, usually we'd end up losing maybe 1 or 2 destroyers, and it's not, you know, necessarily complete fault of the player. It's a destroyer, right? It's got really low hit points. There's only so much you can do, and sometimes you just don't get lucky, and you end up taking a little too much damage, and you end up dying, or, you know, torpedoes are coming in, and you just can't get out of the way fast enough. But anyway, pushing up more northern, you can see again, right, the whole strategy of taking B and C. We're not even concerned with A, right? I mean, at this point in time, yeah, we can probably push up and take A, especially considering we just have this New York here defending it, and the New York is on really low health. So we're just going to, you know, start picking this guy off and see if we can't get him killed. In the meantime, one of our destroyers actually on the port side of me is already taking A. I'm just going to move in here and help him out a little, see if we can't get A capped as well. The enemies have with their aircraft carrier, 1 cruiser, and 1 destroyer remaining. You can see the destroyer is over on the east, engaged by one of our destroyers, so that is fantastic. Enemy aircraft carrier, we know exactly where he is. He's right over there behind the island, and then the enemy cruiser is over there, you know, trying to support his destroyer or friendly destroyer. So we've got this. Hands down. And again, I mean, another great battle by the team, and that is something that just so amazing about team battles, right? It's, you know, Q said it in the stream, and I've said it before, and, you know, we're saying it again. It's just a really nice mix of, you know, just regular, normal gameplay with teamwork involved in there. You get to pick the people, because we do have some mercenaries on our team, but the mercenaries are just other NGA clan members, right? There's only so many spots on the team, and so it's really working out well for us, because at least 4 members of the team are usually always there, so you can get a battle going, and then anyone in the clan who's not on the team can just run as a mercenary for that NGA team. It just makes it really, really awesome. So we can see a torpedo coming in, just 1 torpedo from the torpedo bomber, right? Easily able to avoid that, but there are more torpedoes coming in now. So there's not a whole lot I'm going to be able to do here. I'm going to take 1 torpedo, but no big deal. You can see my torpedoes went in, took out the enemy aircraft carrier, managed to repair, you know, any flooding or fires that was set there, and we popped smoke, and we're good now. We can see we do have a Furitaka in the distance there. I believe it's a Furitaka. Or is that the Oba? Nah, whatever. Japanese cruiser, and it's all over. We managed to win. So this was obviously, you know, after a few other rounds, a few other battles here of team battles, but still, we were destroying that whole night. It was pretty fantastic, and I do hope that you guys are able to, you know, get your own teams together as well and have tried team battles. I did try mercenaries, playing as a mercenary for just random teams. It just isn't the same, just not the same. You really, you know, want to have a group of people to play with, and if you don't, I mean, keep in mind the NGA recruitment link is in my video comment sections below. Consider joining the clan, becoming active in the clan, right? Playing around with us. Anyway, that is today's video. I do hope you guys enjoyed it. You know, as always, send any sort of comments you have in the video comment section below. I'm reading those and responding back to them. Any replays that you have that you might want featured on the channel, send those in. I'll take a look at them and try and get them up. What else? Hit the like button if you liked today's video. Hit subscribe if you are not a subscriber. And as always, I do hope you enjoy the rest of your day.